Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you and peace out to the rest of you. It's the blackest hearted, blackest minded, blackest man on social media signing black in and shining again, asking you to hit the share button because the message is more important than I am. And that being said, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I'm going to try to make it quick. I'm going to tie it in to Mr. Will's video. So bear with me. Last May, I flew into the States. I spent about 3 weeks there. I visited my hometown, saw my parents, my son. And I visited my daughter's new town, saw them. And I went to the city that the lady I'm now married to was staying in. She was visiting that city because that's where her sister and mother were. So I went there to meet them. In the first week, I was back in my hometown in that heat and humidity. And I was taking it all in, I'm back in my hometown. I'm seeing the cattails and all the plants and hearing the birds and all that stuff. The whole natural environment in which I grew up. Here's the problem. Okay, so I dealt with that. I was there. That's what I saw. I ran into, I met up with my man's Dark. Now, Dark and I went to middle school and high school together. 2 years of middle school, 2 years of high school. I got to know him as an adult when we both lived in Atlanta, which is not our hometown. I met up with Dark. Dark let me in on a little information. He told me about some more secret crushes that some women had on me in my teens and even in my adulthood that I was unaware of. Now, he told me that one of the reasons these crushes were somewhat secret was because of my attitude. Here's the funny thing. This attitude didn't even start. It didn't begin. There was no seed of this attitude up until I was out of high school and going into college. It began my first winter in college, and I still didn't fully understand everything that was going on, but my somewhat militant attitude towards childish women, you could say, was not formed in high school. So what was he talking about? It dawned on me. The one thing about which I did get staunch and harsh and militant even in high school was if I knew that I was going through what Imam Sheikh Maulana Brother Dwight Hayes warned us to not do, and I quoted him in the community tabs. If they expected me to jump through hoops through which other men did not have to jump for the same woman, then I would balk with an attitude. I'm not doing this. That's not happening. I wouldn't ask it of you, so I'm not going to do it for you. Don't even ask. What kind of disrespectful crap is that? Other than that, I wasn't harsh with them. I mean, they didn't have to irritate me. But you see, again, if they irritated me, it was by acting childish. And I would know, okay, another man would say, she was childish, man. You acting exactly like how I've heard men talk about other women for acting. And they didn't respect these women. Why is it okay to do that with me? Now, I would balk at it. The problem was that I was expected to do this fairly regularly. So when I thought about it, as he was talking, I realized that's the attitude they were talking about. That means that they were so convinced by looking at me that I was a guy they could get to jump through extra hoops through which other men did not have to jump and tolerate things other men did not have to tolerate from the same ones in exchange for far less than what they were giving these other guys. That when I wasn't that way, they couldn't understand it. They couldn't accept, okay, I screwed up, I misjudged him, he's actually a man. It was more like, why would this guy have that attitude? He looks like he would have a very compliant attitude. Which ironically is the same one they wouldn't want to screw. I let him talk. I learned a lot from him. He is now one of those guys. He is succeeding with women that curbed him back in middle and high school because he is willing to give them a second chance when they make passes at him and shoot the shot. I do not live there. And if I did, I would not give them these second chances. We could be friends, but that's it. I would friend zone them. That's all I would do. And as a Muslim, I'm not going to fornicate with them anyway. That's not the plan. And I'm interested in marrying only Muslims. That's all there is. There is nothing else. So, of course, he can, in fact, succeed. He lives there. It's legal to fornicate. He doesn't have any moral qualms against it. Do you understand where this is going? But he is telling me because of his newfound success with these same women that were not interested in him in middle and high school. He's now telling me how to change my attitude. Again, nobody has thought to go back to them and say to these broads to change their attitudes and tell their daughters to change their attitudes while they're young and have choices. Because these women are coming to him and they don't have choices. He's not a bad choice. The problem is they don't have options. And if you judge them the exact same way they judge men, you will turn them down simply because of the other options they don't have. That's why. Ron Will's video wasn't wrong. It wasn't that. I'm just adding something to it. You see, the reason that your instinct tells you at times to curb them when they come back to you, but you don't really consciously understand why your instincts are telling you this, is very simple. Number one, instinctively you understand the high probability that you're not her type because she already curbed you. Now let's talk about just when they do it politely, not hatefully and meanly, but just when they do it politely, they curb you. Your instincts are telling you, bro, you're not her type. Something's fishy about this. But you can't consciously say, I'm not her type, because then you think you're talking down about yourself when in fact you're just admitting a real possibility that's backed by evidence. Because you were socialized by women to say, oh, see, now I'm talking down about myself. That's insecurity talking. Because that's what they would say if they could hear your thought. That's why. But likewise, if you assume that you are somebody's type, then she thinks that you're arrogant because you assumed it. It's not confidence. They don't peg a man as confident when they find him unattractive. They can't assume that he's confident in that case. He's not in the middle, confident, assertive, self-assured. He's not that if he's not attractive. Unless, of course, they know about this through something else, some other field that they work with him or something. He's just very good at what he does. In a normal scenario, they don't know you. They can't assume this about you unless they find you attractive. They're not capable of seeing this in you. You're arrogant or you have insecurities. It's one of the two. And you're going to notice, if you think about it, when you're dealing with Western women, they're judging you like this most of the time, unless you're her type. They're not judging you objectively. Subconsciously, you know from years of experience that she's going to peg you as either insecure or arrogant. So your instincts are telling you something logical from a subconscious point. Because consciously speaking, she's already in your head shooting down everything you could articulate. That's why. But still, it is good for us men to think and reflect so that we can bring the subconscious into our conscious, because by bringing the subconscious thoughts into the conscious mind, we understand our own motivations. We're already pretty good at that, actually. By understanding your motivations, you will begin to understand her motivations. You know what that leads to? Understanding her, period. And the reason why that is a worthwhile goal is it's only two reasons. Number one, men and women are important to each other. That's true, naturally speaking. We're just in an unnaturally hostile situation. Correction, you are in an unnaturally hostile situation. I'm not. Alhamdulillah, I'll never have to go back there, inshallah. But you are. That's the first reason. The second reason is because they simply don't want you to understand them. Now, if they're that important and they know they're important and you're that important to them, why do they not want you to understand them when you're not against them understanding you? Because they're hiding something. If they don't want you to understand them, they're hiding something. I don't care if it's your own mother. I don't care if it's my own mother. If they don't want you to understand them, they're hiding something. And sometimes when they do love you as a son, or a nephew, the way they protect you is simply that they try to keep women away from you, but they still want to hide something from you because they don't want to ruin their own gravy train. That means that they want for themselves what they don't want for another woman, especially at your expense. That means they know that what they want from men is not fair. That's what that means. Why do mothers-in-law in many cultures strike fear into the hearts of the daughters-in-law, the wives of their sons? Because they know that what they want from their husbands is unfair when their daughter-in-law wants it from their son. That's why. They want the world from their husbands and he better deliver. But how dare you put my son under that much pressure? That's what you're dealing with. And this is universal across many cultures. And that's why in some places they tell the mother to go ahead and find someone for her son so that that's a pre-approval. And I don't blame them. So the addendum, what I wanted to add to Ron Will's video was that really the most telling, the most crucial, the most justifiable reason that your instincts would tell you not to give her a second chance when she curbed you at first is not hatred. That's not it. It's not a grudge. It is that you understand that you have evidence that you're not her type, and that's okay. But why be with her if you're not? That's what it is. And neither you nor she is to blame for that. She's only to blame if she lies about it. You have evidence that she's lying about it. You have evidence from her. You have a prior confession from her that you're not her type. And even then, you usually don't hold a grudge if she was nice about it. You gentlemen are to be commended for that. Do not let anybody come along and ask you why you didn't give her a shot after she curbed you. Like something wrong with you. You look them in the face. If you want to answer them all, you look them in the face and you say, because I have evidence that I'm not her type. Well, what's your evidence? She told me so. When? The first time I tried to shoot my shot at her. I wasn't a type. Wouldn't it be arrogant of me to think that all of a sudden I am now? Now get the hell out of my face. I hope that what I've said helps and benefits. And I'm sorry I couldn't make this shorter. I've tried 5 times, Lord knows. This is the blackest man on social media. Signing black out. Assalamu alaikum, and black male power and understanding of her just because she don't like it.